Hmm. Well, success should always call for showing greater kindness, generosity, and justice. Only people lost in the darkness treat it as an occasion for greater greed. Cyrus the Great, who truly was a great king and was a great leader. And he obviously is speaking very virtuously there, and something that is very contemplative as to the human virtues that aren't material things. So you know people lost in the darkness or turned away from those things because he wasn't a Christian and he didn't know what those things were in the Christian virtuous sense at the time were. However, obviously he's speaking of Christian virtues here, and pretty much universal virtues with the kindness, generosity, and justice, as many of the Greek philosophers pointed out. The highest good. Um, what is justice? What is kindness? What is generosity? All of those things. But the people lost in the darkness exploit it. So they exploit those values that are virtuous, that people strive for, and exploit it for their own gains, their own greed, their own wanting for having things their way and nobody else's. They have to, the people that they rule over have to submit or succumb to that tyranny. So that's one way of looking at the greater greed. Or it could just be someone taking advantage of something like a government system and them, being able to take advantage of it and write it out. So there's different instances where it goes both ways. And obviously the government being more overt is the best way to put it. Rather than somebody taking advantage of the government, which does happen. And not that I'm really complaining about it, but there are different ways that this all happens. It's all contemplated. Um, Being virtuous is something to strive for. Being morally grounded is something to strive for. And seeing other virtues outside of Christianity, as far as those things being universal, and then working together, that there are those types of themes running throughout history, throughout the great kings that have ruled, like Cyrus the Great, and other instances where it's that universal truth that's there and ingrained in all of us, that's just innate throughout all humanity.